It's a good question. Why would a manufacturer go to the expense and hassle of giving us long-termers? Well, sometimes it's to breathe a bit of life into an older model, like the Triumph Speed Triple that we ran for a couple of months recently. Or maybe it's to have a look at more than just the bike, maybe the lifestyle around the bike, which is what happened when we ran a GS Adventure last year. And they may want you to realise that there's more to the model than actually first meets the eye. And just think of our Suzuki GSR 750. I mean, we've raced the thing. That's Suzuki thinking so far out of the box. I'm very proud of them. And now, well, I've got a new long-termer, and this one's kind of to dispel a myth. Ducati, whether it deserves it or not, has a bit of a reputation for, how can I put this delicately, unreliability. We've got a YouTube channel called, surprising this, called The Bike Show. Check it out, you can catch up on all the episodes you might have missed and other bits and pieces we've shot. But on that YouTube channel, we get a lot of comments from around the world, North America, Europe. And whenever we do a Ducati piece, and we've done a few, they always start moaning about Ducati's reliability. Fantastic bike, would never buy one because they always break. Is that true? Well, I must admit, I have seen a few broken Ducatis in my time, but that's always been at a racetrack, and that's sort of to be expected. On the road, well, in 25 years of doing this job, I've tested a lot of red Italian bikes, and to be honest, not one of them has ever gone pop on me. So, is there really any truth to it? From my point of view, not so far. But the only way to test it is to get a long-termer. So this 848 Streetfighter will be with me for 3 months, and I'm going to abuse it good and proper. It's spent nearly a month with me already, and I've put 2,000 kilometres on the clock, and that's not from brand new. For a proper test of reliability, I found this on Ducati's showroom floor. It already got 3,000 kilometres on the clock, a year old, so if I'm going to test reliability, I might as well get a head start. So, 2,000 kilometres of basically commuting, because it's all been around Gauteng, and the weather has been absolutely lousy, so it's had a good drenching along the way too. And I make no apologies, by the way, because this is my favourite sort of bike. It's a naked sport bike, which means it's got performance, and yet supposedly it's comfortable with the high handlebar. But is it really? On the open road, this riding position is just perfect. You've got the upright bar so you feel comfortable, but it's on a sport bike, and you leant over the bars just enough to give you that extra bit of weight over the front, so you just feel super confident throwing it around. Super confident. However, in the urban environment, not quite so good. What works for you on the open road where you're leant over the front a bit and it plugs you in, well, in the town, that just means extra weight on your wrist and it gets a little bit tiring. So good, but not perfect. Yeah, if you want a bike that's primarily for commuting in that sort of urban environment, you're probably better off with Ducati's 821 Monster that Harry reviewed a couple of weeks ago. But the thing is, that's missing a good 20 horsepower compared to this, 132 horsepower the Streetfighter makes, so it is properly fast. Now, it's all glowing so far. Is there anything that's annoying me? Well, when you live with a bike, there are certain things that you notice. It's a silly little one, but for me, every time I turn the ignition off and back on again when I want to start, I always ride with full beam on. I have to put the full beam on every time. It's slightly annoying, but it's just a little niggly point. And there's also starting it up. When you've got a Ducati, I mean, I've been riding different sorts of bikes over the years, but you've really got to get used to... I didn't get used to this for a while. Listen. It's like that every time. You think the battery's almost gone, and it fires into life, but I've got used to that now. I do have to be honest, there's another little niggle that caught me out. It's mostly my fault. I do feel like a little bit of an idiot. When you stick it on the side stand, it's one of those bikes where it remains quite vertical. I parked it at my wife's office the other day. I saw it looked a bit vertical, but it was fine. I walked away from it. 5 minutes later, in the middle of a thunderstorm, it blew over. So I'm going to find out about the price of Ducati spares. I've dinged the mirror, brake lever, bar end, but that's about it. So hopefully it'll be a light hit to my pocket. So, little Streetfighter, just in case you think you're going to be too hard on my pocket, think very carefully, because if you are, this is just a taste of how hard I'm going to be on you.
Well, that was a fantastically mature way to end an introduction to a long-termer. But let's be brutally honest, this isn't a brand new bike, is it?
No, like I said, it's already basically a year old, 3,000 Ks on the clock.
And it costs?
Well, brand new, it's 139,000 Rand. And I was busy doing my kind of virtual haggle with Ducati when I saw it on the floor. 115, maybe 110 if you got Johnny in a good mood, which is quite a significant saving for someone running the bike in for you.
So, look, we introduced this bike a while ago when we were testing the 821 Monster, which new is the same price.
Also 139, that's right.
So would you have the 848 over the 821?
No.
Put him on the spot.
No, the only way you'd ever have that smaller Monster is if you knew 100% of your riding was going to be in town. It is slightly more comfortable, and that ride-by-wire throttle and stuff, it's all a bit more lighter, you know. So it's easier to get on with, but, I mean, you've got to give up 20 horsepower for the privilege. So when you head out on the open road and you want to have a laugh, you know, the 821's not quick enough, so no. And by the way, I mean, you've seen the pictures of it today. The Streetfighter's lovely, isn't it? I mean, the more I look at it, the more I think what a fantastic shape for a naked bike.
I actually prefer the Monster.
That's because you're colourblind, one-eyed gimp. And on which
insult?
note,
Yes, thank you.
We'll leave you for now. We'll see you again next week on The Bike Show.